Hurts takes the snap. He's back. He's going to run. He's in! Touchdown! Jalen Hurts! The Eagles are just devouring the Giants. And it is A.J. Brown again! Another touchdown!
Hey Bryce, what was your favorite Christmas present you got whenever you were a kid?
Um, so this is kind of weird. So I wouldn't really call it weird, but I already knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because my grandparents asked me when I was a kid if I wanted this item or just go with this one. Literally the day before fucking Christmas. It wasn't like, you know how prior some parents would ask you like what it was, what you wanted.
Yeah.
But so it was back in our like Xbox 360 days when we all still used to play that and upgraded. They asked me if I wanted the Xbox One. I was like, take the Xbox One. So my old Xbox One is probably my favorite Christmas present, probably. What about you?
So I got two. One of them is Eagles related. One of them is not. The first one, we'll go with the Eagles one first. So, it was right after, maybe was it right after or right before, Miracle at the New Meadowlands happened. I got a Michael Vick jersey. And I remember, it was white. I hated it, but we had this little store. I don't know. You probably don't remember it because I was like in fifth grade.
Yeah.
There was a store behind the mall, and it had like all these jerseys. And of course, they were all knockoffs. But it's funny because knowing what I know now about like the H gate and all that, and how much you pay for those jerseys, he was selling them at like $60 a pop, and we're like, wow, that's a great deal. You know, that's a great deal. But yeah, Michael Vick jersey. It was white. Loved it, and then of course, I don't think anything happened after that. I think we lost. Right after I got the jersey, and then I think Michael Vick was gone not too long after that. Well, no, he was there for a couple more years with Chip Kelly, but yeah, there's that. And then one year, I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning, because I wanted to see what Santa brought me, and I ran to the living room and I saw that I had a Game Boy Advance, like the SP, the cool ones, you know, and got it, turned it on, started playing it, ripped open the box, everything, and then my parents got mad at me because it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm opening presents already.
Yeah.
So
actually, I'll take
Christmas.
mine back. I'll take mine back. It's the most thoughtful one to me. The more that I think about it. So when we went to the playoff game, my grandparents actually paid for like the ticket and the flight up there. So that was a lot of fucking money. Now that I look back at it.
Yeah, it was.
It was like a Christmas and birthday kind of thing. Since my birthday's 10 days after Christmas, they kind of put it together all in one. So that was by far probably my favorite one.
Yeah,
Xbox being the second. But
yeah,
that was the most thoughtful one to me.
Well, if you want to go that route, my grandma's last present to me was the Eagles tickets to the Bengals game, which unfortunately we know what happened that one. But yeah, that one was a special one. But hey, it's the Linc Lineup. Welcome back. It's Saturday, December 23rd. I'm recording at 11:30 Eastern time. Bryce is at 10:30. You know, because but it is what it is. It's Christmas Eve, and we got plenty to talk about. Josh isn't here. He might be here. He might not. Who knows? He gets busy, and so I know sometimes we record at random times, but we're back, and there was a lot of things that happened this week, and there's plenty to talk about. Crazy because we're a 10-4 team. At one point, we're 10-1. You know, but to feel like the sky's falling, especially with like all these reports that are coming out. So first thing I want to talk about is a little bit of good news. Avonte Maddox, they activated his 21-day window, and he's a full participant full participant in practice this week. So, what do you make of that? And if he does come back, do you think he'll make a difference?
So this is what we're going to have to do in order to see if it's going to make a difference or not. We have to date back all the way at the beginning of this year and think about the first couple of defensive possessions that we had against the Vikings game. Avante was all over the field at the beginning of that game, right before he got hurt. Avante Avante games comes in like spurts. They're weird. Like you don't know he's even out there in some games, and then some game it'll pop up be a random game, 12 o'clock game or whatever it may be, but he's just playing out of his mind. Seems like he's making every tackle, defending every pass. It was starting to look like one of those games for Avante right before he got hurt. So, but looking at it from a team standpoint, a lot of our problems have come from defense from the slot position. We've rotated a bunch of guys in and out there. So it's going to be nice to have some stability there back, at least for a little while.
I think we can agree that he's better than Bradley Roby.
Yeah, for sure. Bradley Roby's played well for what he's had to do though. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have him back just because, like, as much as you and I and most Eagles fans get like frustrated that he's so often injured, he is a very solid piece when it comes to that position. He plays it as well as anybody does. He's not going to let CD go off for 100 and however many yards he had that one game. He's definitely a better option than what we've had in the past. Play that spot while he's been injured. So I can't wait to get him back. I can't wait to get Darius Slay back because that'll be nice. And so this kind of leads me to my next point is, so we recorded on what, Tuesday? It was Tuesday, right? Yeah. And it's currently Saturday, so we've had plenty of time to kind of watch back from the previous game, go over some film studies that some people have done, some maybe even, you did your own. But so obviously I listened to Shane Haff and Johnny Page because, like I said, I feel like they give very, very good like insight on what's going on during the game. And I've learned a lot listening to them. But the common thing that they're thinking is for the rest of the year, put Keely Ringo and Eli Ricks as your outside cornerbacks. And before the news broke about Avonte Maddox being a full participant and being activated on his 21-day window, they had James Bradbury playing the slot. So two-part question. One, do you think that's what you would want? And then B, is Eli Ricks and Keely Ringo the future of the cornerback room?
So to answer your first question, I don't know. I sit and bitch a lot, like after a game, because I just sit in my emotions. But I'm not the biggest fan of like a complete change of something right in the middle of a season. I've never really liked that, because I feel like it opens doors to a lot other things being exposed or unraveled. But I do like Keely on the outside. I feel like he gives you a better competitive advantage from James Bradbury at this point in James's career. If you watch the tape, like that Shane broke down of Keely's performance, you'll see that. Yeah, I watched it. And Keely looked really good in the game, especially for it being his very first game that he had to start on the outside, and that is not an easy receiving core. to go against for your very first NFL start in your career.
Even Tyler Lockett's not a slouch. He's precise
No,
route runner and he's fast.
yeah. JSN's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's almost making model of Tyler Lockett. Like he'll carve you up with routes.
JSN looked like Usain Bolt out there in that last play.
Yeah. But I think that's because of who he was running against. and um and then you got DK. DK is like if you had to go in the lab and construct an NFL wide receiver, you're going to come out with DK Metcalf. So it's not an easy task going up against that team. I got to give credit to Drew Lock. Drew Lock did what he needed to do to win that game. He made throws when they absolutely needed them. But looking back, Keeley played a really sound football game. I'd like to see him do it again this week against a receiving core that's not near as good as the Seahawks. But to answer your second question, I don't know. I may be weird about it because I got some bad memories of just Eli Ricks playing in the slot, and I don't think he's a slot corner at all.
He's not quick.
He's definitely an outside corner, and he's a man-to-man corner. He's definitely a press man-to-man corner, which is good because I can't really. I mean, Darius Slays used to be that, but at the same time, when's like the last time the Eagles had like complete shutdown corner to a side? I would say Darius, and like Darius is like maybe first year or second year here. But other than that, it's been a while. If he could translate into something like that, that'd be really good. But I don't know. I like Keeley a lot right now. I think Keeley's stock is rising.
Yeah, at a very quick pace too. That video that you're referencing, it showed a lot of good things with Keeley, and even on the rep you can count as like a loss. He was still there, and the fact that he was able to turn around and just get going was impressive, especially because he was guarding, I think, Tyler Lockett that play. Now Drew Lock made a terrible pass, but Keeley he's right on his hip pocket. So, I mean, if he somehow
Keeley's got the makeup speed to run with anybody.
He does.
I mean, there's maybe a handful of guys, Tyreek Hill, but other than that, Keeley's got a track background for a reason. I mean, he's a very quick guy, and he's tall and lanky. He's got long strides when he runs. So he's, like I said last episode, he's got the makeup to be an all-pro type corner, like an all-pro shutdown corner.
Yeah, and I so to answer my own question, which was what was my first question? I can't remember my first question.
Are they? No.
For the future? No.
No.
Oh yeah. So James Bradbury should be just benched or even like rotated in. I like the youth movement that I feel like Matt Patricia kind of threw in there, and it might not have been just him, but I'm gonna give him credit for it because his name's on the game plan now. But having Eli Ricks and Keeley like impress coverage and like on the line, it's a breath of fresh air because all season long is like we're lining up 8 yards off the ball, 10 yards off the ball. I mean, it's to prevent the big play, and at the same time, we gave up a big play, lining up 12 yards off the ball. I like the youth movement. And then second thing is, if you believe the Eli Ricks and Keeley are the future, you can't forget about Isaiah Rodgers.
That's what dude. We could have definitely used him this year in a spot in a bad way.
Definitely.
Isaiah Rodgers is not no slouch player.
He's very solid. Probably even a better gambler. Talking about it, but I mean, those three could definitely headline your your cornerback room, and then like Eli is very he seems like he's very confident, and you look at James Bradbury now, and like we like James Bradbury, like we said many times, but it seems like he's like very down. He kind of gets down. Like he'll take accountability after the game, but you can tell by his like just the way his body language is and whatnot. He's just down. And I mean, Eli Ricks, he got beat by CD for a lot of yards, and he's still bouncing back. And he kind of reminds me of Jalen Mills in that. And we took Jalen Mills for granted. Like even though he was awful and slow, he wasn't awful, but like he was slow, and he got beat a couple of times. He never let anything phase him, and that's what you need at the cornerback position because you're facing an uphill battle regardless because this league is so offensive. It favors the offense so much. So that's nice.
Cornerback to me is the toughest position to play in football.
It is. You're literally mirroring a fast, super athletic guy, and you got to run stride for stride, and you have the whole field. You have to watch basically, and freaks like DK who are huge and are fast and are scary. To be quite frank with you, yeah. So like I like the youth movement, and I feel like this is what the defense needed is like scrappy dudes that aren't afraid to play. And this leads me to my next point: is Sidney Brown. Look, he was awful the second half, but man, he was feisty. And he provided, I feel like, a spark that the defense like needed, and the spark faded away once he stopped making plays. But even that play where, you know what the play I'm talking about, where he tried to tackle Kenneth Walker, failed. Guess what he did? He got right back up and was like 5 yards behind him, and he was chasing him down. And like
you see a lot of guys give up on the play initially if they don't want to make the first tackle, or they could easily. I mean, at that point, you just got to think anybody in that situation, you don't make that initial tackle, you think you're out of the play and you're just dead to the play. That's what you want to see is somebody who doesn't give up on a play, doesn't give up on a rep, a snap, nothing. They play balls to the wall, hair on fire every time they step on the field, which is like, it's really refreshing to see. But that kind of leads me to a question. Do you think we might be, especially in Sydney's case, kind of threw him to the Wolves at an early point in his career where I didn't personally think he was going to have to play this many snaps. Me personally, I didn't think he was going to this year. I'm not saying rush their development, but there shouldn't be a reason with this many veterans and this many talented people on defense that he has to play this much, I think is what I'm trying to get at. But I don't know.
He needs to play this much. And my point was he's like a spark plug, and you're not going to get, that big play, momentum swinging play from like James Bradbury, or I don't even think like Kevin Byard really. Like Sidney Brown, he's going to try to kill somebody. He might not kill him, but he's going to try to. But that moment he does do it, guess what? Everybody's going to get juiced up, and you're going to see a whole different team. And so I think Jeff Kerr, that's his name. He asked Sidney what he can improve on, and Sidney Brown said he can improve on like a million different things. And he said he won't change any part of his game. He says he's an aggressive player. He's going to shoot his shot, and if he misses, he misses. He just hopes that the guys around him will rally to the ball. And I do like that mindset. Initially, I was like, dude, make the tackle. Like, worry about making the tackle. But like, at the end of the day, because like I said, he's kind of quick. He's kind of fast, and he attacks the ball. If he can get there and slow up the play, if he doesn't get the tackle, they should rally behind him. Shaq Leonard should have made that play. He absolutely should have made that play. But of course, it looks like Shaq Leonard hasn't stretched in 4 years and looks stiff, But I like what Sidney Brown brings. I like what Keeley brings. I like what Eli brings. Eli is an outside corner, purely outside. And so like I like this youth movement. And when you think about it, you got Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, you got Keeley, Eli, Sidney Brown, Reed Blankenship, Nolan Smith. Who else is young that I'm missing? That's probably it. But like that's a solid group, especially if they continue to develop and become what we hope they can become. Hassan still isn't like to the point where you got to worry about him like age wise. And then figure out your linebackers. The future is bright still. But anything about Sidney Brown you want to talk about before we move on?
No, I like Sidney as a player. I just there's some things, some key things he's gonna have to clean up. There's a lot of key things. His defense is just gonna have to clean up, but that's a that's a discussion for another day.
I mean, he's very exciting, and I fully believe that there will be Sidney Brown jerseys walking around the Linc and in the future, just because of how he plays, and it's definitely one of those players that a fan base can get behind as long as he makes more tackles than he misses. If he continues the trend of just missing every single tackle, he'll quickly become the most hated person. But I think he'll clean it up. And I feel like it's one of those things that can be fixed. It's not like I think it's like a skill issue.
No, it's just fundamentally, it's a fundamental thing. He's not sticking to his. I hate to say it because it's his play style, but sometimes he plays so fast he almost plays himself out of the tackle. If that makes any sense. Um, he he's not one to break down and make a tackle. He's always the one to try to run through a tackle,
Yeah.
and sometimes that can get him into a bad spot.
But like I said, makes the play. It's just game changing plays. It's huge. I actually had a dream last night that Sidney Brown got a pick, and it was a pick six. He was high stepping to the end zone. I don't think it was Sidney Brown, but definitely was him in my dream. So that's my bold prediction for this game. Even though I think in my dream he almost stepped out of bounds, like they tackled him, they tried to like hit him like the legs, like diving at him, and he like almost stepped on the white, but he didn't. And they reviewed it, watched it forever. But that's my bold prediction. Sidney Brown pick six. It looked like he could have had a pick six on Monday, but we won't bring that up because that was part of the last drive.
Mhm.
Did you see Matt Patricia's press conference?
I was just about to ask you that earlier. I actually didn't watch it. I've watched clips of it, but I like him. He's a very, I think Darius Slay's kind of hit the nail on the head when he was asked about Matt. He was like, he's a complete different person than he was in previous years within New England and Detroit. Um, he seems accountable. He actually took blame for the final drive and said he's got to call in better plays. He's got to get guys in a better position there. But I actually think he called a decent last possession. Besides, when you have him backed up so far, I would have liked to see some more blitzes kind of heat up Drew Lock and not just kind of let him stand back there. But I think there was just a lot of misexecution on that last drive that caused that. But it's nice to see. I actually we talked about it last episode. I still think he called a really good game. I think he called a very good game. It just didn't execute.
Yeah, he seems like he's very he's very likable. He seems very like humble. He knows that in the past he's probably hasn't given off like a great impression. And so like it's hard because I listen to BG and radio all the time. Probably like the podcast I listen to most when it comes to like Eagles content. Um, so like when BLG and sometimes Jimmy Kimsky, I'll never shun Jimmy Kimsky. I love he's my by far and away my favorite writer that Philly has. So but like when BLG kind of like shits on that Patricia and like the move and stuff, it frustrates me because like we weren't doing anything with Sean Desai. Like we weren't. And we don't know what was going on behind the scenes because it seemed like the players lost their confidence in Sean Desai. And they were trying to do like they wanted to take over like doing their own scouting reports. And at what point do they're like, hey, let's call our own plays, like how worse can it possibly get? It can get that worse, it can get that bad. I mean, you don't want that. And everybody's like, it's a panic move. It's screaming a panic move. I don't think it is. I think it's
I think it's realizing you have a problem and you
yeah,
address it. It's not fucking full blown hitting the panic move to me or panic button to me. It's just it's addressing that you have a problem and you have the resources in your building to fix it. And so you just going to let it sit there and be a problem, or you try to fix it?
yeah. And I still think this defense is talented, regardless of what stats show and everything else shows. I think this defense is talented. I don't know what's going on with the D line. I think I saw it was like the 27th ranked D line as far as efficiency goes in the pass rushing department, which is crazy because your top 4 pass rushers would be Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick, and Josh Sweat. They're not getting any pressure. They're probably tired. That's probably what it is. But I don't think we're also scheming up anything that can help them out as far as like coverages go, because if you play 10 yards off the ball, you're going to get the ball out quick. Just the fact of life. And so like, when was the last time you saw, before this past game, you saw the Eagles get a covered sack? It's been a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a hot minute. I haven't heard covered sack in a long time. It's usually, and honestly, it looks easy for opposing quarterbacks. Just first read, second read's open. Throw it to him, because guess what? Nobody's around him. So my question here was, now that the weeks kind of progressed, do you think it was a bad move to demote Sean Desai? My answer is no. And I don't think there'll be anything that would change my mind. Even if Matt Patricia calls the worst games in the world these next coming weeks, I don't think you can continue to have a coach that has lost his players and you can continue to go on, especially like with a team that has like Super Bowl aspirations. There's no way you can call it a mistake.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. There's not really once you if there's reports coming out that you've apparently lost your players or lost the locker room on the instance of just your coaching is so bad that they don't believe in it, believe in your scheme, and believe in your system, there's not really much you can do to persuade or change somebody's mind in that instance. I'm just taking it for just trying to put my prior like football experiences and stuff like that into words here. But like once you don't believe in something as a player, um it's hard to persuade a player's mind or change a player's mind about your scheme when the constant results are not good ones, and it's something that consecutively continuously happens. There's got to be a change somewhere, and this is this is the National Football League. This we have to remember, this is a business. This is not somewhere to make friends. Everybody's trying to compete for the same goal. And if you aren't competing to your highest level and competing to the resources that you have within your organization, you can, it only takes, like we've seen it, it takes a year or two for a franchise to put themselves into a rebuilding year, and they'll be in hell for a while.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's just like, if your team doesn't believe in you, you make a mistake, or like the team plays bad, they're going to blame you for it, and there's no getting them off that. So I think by switching it to Matt Patricia, who is, I feel, well respected in the NFL. I know there's like stats out there that says he's never like had a top 10 defense. Um, even as like the head coach of the Lions, I feel like the Lions weren't talented to begin with during his time there. And let's not forget, it's the Lions. And before this year, before Dan Campbell kind of got there, it was always a joke. So I'm not going to hold that against him. He's won Super Bowls.
That's what boils down to me. statistically, he might not have had great defenses, but the man has won fucking championships. Let's not. Tom Brady, I get it. He he was his quarterback was Tom Brady. I understand that, but Tom Brady could not beat those teams by himself. I
Yeah.
mean, the Super Bowls that he's won, Tom Brady could not do that by himself. He had to have some kind of competent defense to do that. So I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, it's gonna be hard to tell me as a bad move. It's gonna be very hard to tell me it's a bad move. On the flip side, uh, you saw that thing that Josh sent in the chat about the offensive coordinator. Like I forgot what it was. Like efficiency, I think.
Yeah,
I like Brian Johnson's like top. I know for sure it's top 10.
I think he's like top three.
So I
Oh,
think
excuse me, he's top five.
top 5. So we've been on Brian Johnson this whole year, but I feel like as the season's gone on, it's been like a Nick Sirianni thing that we've been on now, and it's gonna be hard to get me off of that because,
We've said it for since the beginning.
but I think Brian Johnson's gonna find himself as far as like getting the players in rhythm and stuff. I feel like it's gonna be on him, and I feel like he's gonna ride up to the occasion. Like I said, maybe I'm too positive, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I didn't want to talk too much about it because like I don't have much to say um about that. But man oh man, do we have a special guest. He's currently joining and it's Josh. We'll give him a second to kind of get in here before we move on to our next topic. Next topic is gonna be the
I
Jalen
want to
Hurts
have
article.
him. I want to have him explain that chart and kind of run through it because I didn't. It's for me. It's kind of hard to understand that chart we're seeing.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, hello.
What's
Hello.
up,
How's it
buddy?
going? Josh is here. Remember that chart you sent the other day?
I do.
Bryce wants you to go over it and try to explain it a little bit. I would look at it, but I don't want to move my phone right now because I'm lazy. But they're just backing that Brian Johnson isn't as bad as some people, say he is.
Yeah. Yeah, not only that, I mean, according to this chart, he's a top 5 play caller.
Which is interesting.
Very interesting. I think I mean, I don't know how they generate these scores and everything. I mean, but you look at some of the top teams on this chart, like the Niners are first, the Chiefs are second, Dolphins are third. So like, those are generally considered like, some of the best offenses in the league. I don't know how much of it is based on, like scoring versus yards gained per play versus whatever. Because the fact that we are able to move the ball between the 20s so well, I think plays a big part in this. I don't know how much they weigh that versus actually converting once you get into the red zone. So I'm not sure. But from the chart, I mean, we really, don't have a lot to complain about when it comes to Brian Johnson, top 5 play caller in the league.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't know. I mean, it kind of goes against at least my personal eye test, which I definitely don't feel like we have a top 5 play caller. But
I think the problem is just the play calling itself and like when to call plays and when to not. This I don't know if you guys heard the Jason Kelsey interview on I believe it was WIP. But he was like, we got to find ways to get the explosive play, and I feel like that's all this team is obsessed with is finding the explosive play, and like the whole first possession we're taking what the defense gave us, and Jason Kelsey said that's not sustainable. I feel like it is. I feel like it's really sustainable to just dink and dunk until they step up and make you like have to make a big play, And I don't understand that philosophy, and I feel like that could be the reason why we struggle at times. It's just we're just trying to make something happen that's not there. And don't get me wrong, I love AJ Brown as much as anybody, but I mean, he's not going to win every jump ball. And if you're going to throw these things on like 3rd and 8 or, 3rd and 4, it's just bad play calling. That's bad play calling. Call that shit on 2nd down, when like 2nd and manageable, call it there, and then become that 3rd down team that we know you are, where you convert everything. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by trying to do these big plays whenever it's just simply not there. So now let's move on to the Jalen Hurts article. I'm sure you guys saw that one. Yeah. So do you think it's gonna be an issue? Do you think it's true?
I think the article was kind of, well, for one, the fucking title of it was so misconstrued into what the actual article was reading. Then,
What did it say? Because I paid it no mind.
So the article itself said there's not internal like concern of his play. There is like the franchise wants him to be the outspoken leader, like Chase said in 2 podcasts ago.
Every podcast.
They're literally they're wanting him to be more outspoken of a leader and holding guys accountable, and instead of like putting so much blame on himself is basically what the article was saying. But the fucking title of it was like, oh, they're concerned about is just him as a player. Whoever wrote that article is a fucking idiot. I mean, it's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid, dude. I don't mind some of Jeff's articles because I've read quite a bit of them, but that one was a little egregious. He should have said something completely different than internal concern, because that's not really what the article said at all.
Yeah, I mean, we all hate ESP, but I mean, ESP's not putting out shitty articles like this,
No, but he's putting out some shitty ass takes during the game.
He sure is, man. But I mean, it's not the beat reporter we need. It's what we deserve, I guess, or whatever the saying is. But yeah, I mean, it almost feels like a fan was like the source here, like the inside person. Like, come on, man.
Did you say something to him?
It might have been me, to be honest.
Did you say something to Jeff?
Could have been me. But like I said, the last pod is like I have more belief in him than I do any quarterback in the NFL, just because it's like what he's been through and what he's done and what he's already proven. Yes, I would love to show him, like, for him to show some more emotion, but at the end of the day, if it's not him, it's not him.
He's not going to change for nobody. I mean,
but my gripe is he's shown it before that he is that person. So it's almost like I saw somebody on Twitter say, like, he's like beating himself up to the point where like he can't have fun until he gets Super Bowl. And like, you're playing football, man. It's supposed to be fun. Make it fun. And I know you're on the sideline giggling, like, 'cause we all saw that one clip of him, laughing it up with AJ and Devontae on the sideline. But like, show a little bit more, because when the camera's on you, you're emotionless and you look like you hate your life. But I don't think it's an issue. I don't think anybody in there believes that. And it'll be funny if, when we play the Giants, he's all
that's what I was thinking. I was like, he's gonna come out and
finger going and all that fun stuff. Man, what a
just go way over the top.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Be a little smart ass. I would love that, but it's not going to happen, because
you start grittying again after every touchdown.
Yeah, but like that's the point. Is like he did that last year. He talked shit. He was gritting, and we're playing the Vikings. He fucking did this, like that.
Yeah.
He just hasn't done it.
Well, I think right now it's kind of it's crazy how this team loses 3 games in a row. And it seems like all hell is breaking loose, and that we're an 0-16 team.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it sometimes.
Yeah.
Everybody's calling.
I don't know. I think it's funny how everything just comes out at once, like within the organization, once you start losing.
Yep, that's typically how the cookie crumbles, though. Especially whenever you start off hot, you're not. But there's 3 games left, plenty of time to get hot again. The last topic I had at least I wanted to talk about was, did you guys see the AJ Brown interview?
I actually did not. I couldn't hear it.
Oh, there's a different angle of it where you can actually hear it. Basically, he summed it up like, I'll try to sum it up the best I can. If I completely butcher this, I apologize. So he started off with saying, like he shouldn't have like tweeted out like what he did. He said that he puts a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this game. He's like he doesn't come here just to lose. He says he sacrifices a lot of time with family, and especially like his kids, I can't remember.
Kid.
Um, kid, and so he's like whenever like he drops his kid off at school or something, like she'll cry because she's like she misses him. So like he's like, but you know, I do get the blame, and he's like, but I put myself in that chair. He's like, I want that because game on the line, I want the ball, and he's like, throw it to me. He's like, and then he's like, if it doesn't work, put that on me. He's like, I'm the one that sits on that chair, and he's like, I want to, and you can listen to the whole thing. I'll link you guys both the one that I saw that was actually worth listening to because
I seen he got a lot of positive feedback from that interview.
yeah, because before that, like I know, no, we know a little bit about AJ, but we know that he's like he's emotional, a lot of wide receivers are, a lot of elite wide receivers are, and of
We
course
had to, yeah.
in our friend group, we
God, dude, had to
yeah
argue about it.
we take a lot of
And
crap for having AJ as our wide receiver, but
I will say, any team that is in our friend group would fucking kill to have AJ Brown on their team. I don't care what they got to say. And AJ Brown, to me, top 3 receiver in this league. I'd even go as far as putting him as number 2. That's just how I feel about it. Uh, if you've ever watched a game of football, like Chase, you pointed out, and actually our group chat, every Hall of Fame receiver that you could probably think of has had a so-called diva moment at some point, because that's just what receivers do, man. Receivers, that's just receivers' personality. They want the ball, they want to affect the game in a good way, and if they affect it in a bad way, then that's what they live with. I mean, that's just the players that they are. Um, that's just how the position has always been played that I've seen. I mean, you date it back to even Jerry Rice. I'm sure Jerry Rice has complained and bitched and complained for not getting the ball. I mean, that's just how the position is. I
yeah.
mean, that's just how it goes.
Put in perspective, our friend group consists of Bears fans, a Raiders fan who might not have a lot to complain about because he does have Devontae Adams, but he still would take AJ. And then a Titans fan, a Commanders fan, and then a Saints fan. They would all take AJ. But the thing is, it's like before this, it seemed like AJ. I want to say didn't care, but like he has had like streaks this year, past couple games where it seems like he just kind of is so frustrated he doesn't care about like winning. Like I think last year, whenever he had a run a route that he knew he wasn't the read on, he didn't run it. Sometimes like in blocking, he doesn't block really well. That's why you'll probably see Devontae out there blocking because by God, that guy's got some heart because he's he weighs what 150
Yeah.
if that. But like it was nice to see like AJ be like genuine. And I feel like we haven't seen that from him, and then we also haven't seen that I feel like from some of our other players. Looking at you, Jalen. But it was very nice to see like AJ just be honest about it. He's like, I shouldn't have did what I did, but at the same time, I signed up for this, and he's like, I'm willing to wear that. So good on him. Glad he's my wide receiver. Glad we got him. Glad I got his jersey. It wasn't a mistake. Don't regret it. I regret it. Whenever he did send that tweet initially, because like, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to give you shit because we're very passionate about it. I don't know why. I don't know the science behind being passionate about a team that probably doesn't give two shits about you. But We are. And so, like, your frustrations when it comes to playing, we feel almost the same whenever it comes to watching you guys play. Because believe me,
Yep.
if I could put on that jersey and that helmet, I could go out there and play, I would. I'd give 2,000%, man. So like if we see you not giving it your all, and we can see it, it does frustrate us a little bit because we spend a lot of time and money and effort on this team. So it was very nice to see him like at least acknowledge that he shouldn't be doing that. But also people gotta stop saying shut up and hoop essentially to the players. Don't do that. It's there's don't.
They're human beings.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. I mean, they put their body and their character and just they put their lives on the line and they dedicate this stuff to make fans happy. I mean, to play the game that they grew up loving and playing and wanting to play for as a career. It's not just they're not paid prima donnas. They're human beings like everybody else.
Yep. So with that being said, I think we'll move on to our prize picks, locks of the week. If we want
Josh
to,
sold last week.
I mean, Josh
Jay
didn't.
sold too.
Josh didn't sell by himself, but he did sell. I feel like the hardest because Gabe Davis did flip a goose egg, but it is what it is.
Hey, it either hits or it doesn't. There's no close only counts horseshoes and hand grenades. So.
Yep. And so to review last week, Bryce went 2 for 2. I went 1 for 2, and Josh went 1 for 2 as well. So this week, funny enough, me and Josh are actually teaming up together this week because my picks need his picks to work. So we'll start with the non-Eagles picks. Of course, we're doing 6 legs. You can split them up however you want to if you want to. If you want to tell us, because after last week, I understand I did win $2 because I bet I think 15. So just letting you know, we haven't not won money yet. But we'll start with Josh. Josh has. Hold on, before we actually do Josh, they did bump up his line from last night. It was 238.5, and now it's 241.5. Do you want to change your pick, or are you riding with your pick?
I'm riding. I'm riding.
All right. So Josh has Jake Browning over 241.5 passing yards, which I feel like is very achievable against a hurt Steelers secondary. Bryce has James Cook over 26.5 receiving yards. Me and Bryce both hit the receiving yards by running back pick last week. And we fully intend on hitting it again this week. I don't know why I said week. I don't have a running back, but my non-Eagles pick is T. Higgins over 58.5 receiving yards. So if you do the math there, that's how me and Josh are working together this week. Because if his quarterback goes off, our receiver has to go off, hopefully. I'm also doing this because I'm starting T. Higgins in fantasy and I really need T. Higgins to go off to move on to the championship game. So please God. 58.5 does seem very reachable, though. Now, for our Eagles game picks, did anybody pick the Giants at all? Like any players at all from the Giants?
No.
Nope, I did not either. Josh has A.J. Brown going over 78.5 receiving yards. That seems like a good pick, a smart pick as well. Bryce is riding the Kenneth Gainwell pick again this week with over 20.5 rushing yards. I don't dislike the pick, but if there's a Boston Scott line, I would have picked that one over that one. But it is what it is. Prize picks. If you don't know about Boston Scott, you should probably do your research, especially when it comes to these Giants games. And then I have Jalen Hurts over 230.5 passing yards. At some point, he's going to have to go off, and we're finally playing. We're playing at home on Christmas. No rain in the forecast. It's perfect day for a bounce back performance. Hopefully he's over his sickness as well. But that's our prize picks, locks of the week. Hopefully win some money. I put my own money into this little parlay thing you want to call it. So I'm riding it out. So if you want to ride it out with us, go ahead and do that. Last but not least, game picks. So do we want to kind of have fun here and pick all the NFC East and then the 49ers game? Or do we just want to do the Eagles game?
Let's do them all.
All right. All right. First games first. If I recall correctly, I think the Cowboys are traveling to Miami to play the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
Let me look it up. I can't remember if it's at Miami or it has to be at Miami because Dallas had 3 straight home games.
So it is.
Yep. Cowboys at Miami. Miami is currently 2-point favorites. Bryce, who do you have that game? And we're going to use a spread here, by the way. So, who you got?
What's the spread again? Sorry.
2. Miami has 2.
2. At Miami?
Yep.
I think Miami covers that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miami had a really good game last week. And they didn't have anybody. Like Jalen Ramsey didn't play. I'm pretty sure Xavier Howard didn't play either. Tyreek Hill didn't play. Excuse me, I think Jalen Ramsey did play. But Xavier Howard didn't play. Tyreek Hill didn't play. Pretty sure Devon A-Chain didn't play. They were beat up, and they still beat the hell out of that team last week. So,
all right, Josh, what do you got?
I think that the Dolphins beat the shit out of the Cowboys.
There we go. We need that one. That'd be fun.
I don't think Dallas struggles to cover motion this year. Dolphins are very good at utilizing that, and I think that they're going to run a rough shot all over the Cowboys.
Good, as long as A-Chain doesn't have a big game. Obviously, due to fantasy purposes only. I also have the Dolphins covering that spread. You will never see me pick the Cowboys in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Next up, a stinker of a game. We have the Washington Football Commanders traveling to New Jersey to face the Jets. Jets are 3-point favorites here. Bryce, give me something here. Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? I will say I'm gonna pick the Commanders. I think they'll win.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same.
I think maybe Jacoby Brissett starting to. I think he's much better than Sam Howell is, but you didn't hear that from me. Josh, you think the Commanders win this one?
Yeah, I think the Commanders probably win. Yeah, I would take the Commanders. I think it's just pretty bad.
All right. Next one, Monday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens traveling to the San Francisco 49ers, where the 49ers are currently 6-point favorites.
Wow.
Over the Ravens. Bryce, what do you got?
I'm taking the Ravens +6.
Yeah.
Just for this sole fact. I am fucking begging that Ravens defense. Dude, stop Christian McCaffrey in some way. I don't give a fuck if you lose by 30.
Fantasy.
I don't care if you lose by fucking 30. And Brandon Ayuk and Debo have like 4 touchdowns apiece. I don't care. Christian McCaffrey better not touch that fucking end zone one time, please. I need it, dude. Patrick Queen, I'm looking at you, big dog. I need you to fly around.
That big dog meme, by the way, is hilarious.
Big dog.
Big dog. It was like the first one I saw was the nickname coach gives the fat kid. They can't remember his name.
Big dog.
They're good. They're good. Why is the line so much?
Yeah, somebody not playing or something.
I'm thinking somebody's not playing or somebody's coming back. I mean, I don't know at all. But Josh, how you see this game turning out?
And on the fence with the spread, I definitely took the Ravens +6. I was inclined to take the Ravens money line. So I think they can pull it out. I think uniquely equipped to slow down Christian McCaffrey. I think they have arguably the best pair of linebackers in the league between Roquan Smith and Patrick McQueen. So we'll see. I mean, it'll be a good game regardless, and it would be nice to see somebody cut the Niners down to size. And I think the Ravens could do it.
How do we feel if the Niners blow out the Ravens?
Sick.
I will vomit. Yeah.
Very sick. Give me Ravens money line and bold prediction. The Niners lose the Rams last week of the season. Yep. I think the Rams are hot, and I'm not gonna lie to you. If we have to play them somehow, I don't. But last but not least, your Philadelphia Eagles are at home against the New York Football Giants, where the spread went from, I think, 10 points to 13.5.
In our favor? Well, our
duh.
favor.
Do you think the Giants are 13.5 points favorites right now?
Yeah, they could be, dog.
They could.
National media seen the way we stunk up these last 3 games. I'm like, do we really trust these motherfuckers?
13.5 points is a lot of points. Just give up.
I'm gonna take our money line and just leave them points alone.
Josh, what are you going to do as a better here?
Man, give them the points. Who cares? Eagles won by 20.
Okay, I see we're back. We're not down anymore like we were last time. All right, that chase speech got you guys going, didn't it? It worked.
The speech got me going. I can't lie, but if we're gonna make this comeback, if we're gonna turn it around, it's gonna start this week, and so I'm optimistic that we're gonna do it. So
I would put out alternate line of 21. To be honest with you, yeah, give me the birds. I know I've predicted many blowouts this year. Hasn't happened once. This has got to be the one right here. This has got to be the one.
We can't go the whole season without one. It's got to happen.
I mean, there's 3 games right here where we can do it. Man, I wish there was a scenario where we could rest against the Giants in the last game, because that field scares me to death. Hopefully they roll out some green grass instead at some point in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, give me the Eagles. No doubt in my mind we won this game, because if we don't win, I might jump off a bridge. Because I gave that passionate speech, and for them to just turn their back on me like that, oh hell no.
I'm tired of getting on Twitter and seeing people just cook our shit. Us frauds.
Yeah. And it won't stop this week if we do blow out the Giants. So you guys beat the Giants. Oh, yeah, we did. Finally. Thank God we beat somebody that we're supposed to beat, But yeah, that'll do it for this week's episode of the Linc Lineup. If you're new here, make sure to follow all of our socials at the Linc Lineup, where I feel like we've done a better job on Twitter, at least. Everything else is to be determined. Let's see. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, give us a rating. That'd be nice. And then subscribe, follow us, whatever you do on there. That'd be nice as well. If you're listening on YouTube, didn't upload last week's episode because I suck. But this week I got you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share with a friend. But that'll do it from here. We'll be back some point next week to talk about the Eagles' victory. I'm putting it out there in the air. Eagles' victory. Yeah, we're gonna win. Talk about that. Yeah, hopefully our prize picks. That's not fun to say. Prize picks hit, and it's a very positive episode. But as always, until next time, go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.